Hey, it's Jaxler, and welcome back to my testing world. As you can see, I'm in a bit of a dark room here, so let me turn on the lights for you. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to create a 2x2 drop-down lighting system in Minecraft. This design is 10x10x4 in volume, so for what it is, it's actually really compact, which is what I was going for in this build. It takes about a second and a half to open and close, so it's very, very fast, though the design I have at the moment could be a little faster. Oh no, I'm falling! No. By just adjusting these repeaters, you can actually make it a tiny bit faster, though I would check on that. I wouldn't... Don't take my word for it, is what I'm trying to say. Inside this chest is everything you will need to build this device. For your sanity and for mine, I have color-coded each different part of the mechanism so it's easier to understand what exactly is going on. In total, though, you'll need a stack of blocks and another 14, so you don't need all of these blocks plus the stack and another 14. So with that in mind, let's get started on how this thing works. Alright, now let me try to explain how this is working. One of the two big features of this device is the idea of a bud switch or a block update together. Now, from a normal person's perspective, it doesn't really look like there's actually a bud switch here, but there is in fact. For example, you see these two pistons right here? There's no redstone connecting them, but somehow they get powered. So let me explain to you how these pistons are getting powered. So, as I just mentioned, the entire concept of this is through a bud switch. For those of you who don't know what a bud switch is bud stands for a block update detector. And what that does is whenever a block update is detected next to a piston, the piston activates. That's the gist of what is happening. So as you can see in this little demonstration piece, this piston right here has no redstone on it. So the way our bud works, generally, the block diagonal to the piston needs to be powered, and then when an update is created, say I place a block next to the piston, it then fires off the piston. So let me activate this real quick, and as you can see, this left piston activates even though there's no redstone signal, and it looks like there's nothing triggering a block update. But because we have this piston right here being powered by this redstone current up here, it triggers a block update in the piston next to it, which also causes it to be activated as well. So that's how I get multiple pistons to be activated, even though there's not as much redstone. And the reason we do this is A, to save on redstone and resources, and B, it also keeps the redstone wires from getting crossed. And if we weren't able to use these bud switches, this contraption wouldn't really even be possible. So now the other thing that I want to explain real quick is how the pulling retracting mechanism works. So the way I like to explain this is it's kind of like two functions, I guess. So there's a T flip-flop right here that activates which function happens. So there's four sets of pistons, and two sets of pistons are assigned to each block. We have this blue set right here assigned to the glowstone, and we have this yellow set right here that's assigned to this solid block, or the yellow stained clay. So what needs to happen is that one function needs to happen before the other. So to start, we have the pink wire, which pulls up the solid blocks right here. But then we need to have those yellow blocks moved out of the way. So the yellow wool pistons need to fire. And then to get the glowstone blocks in, we have to use these pistons to activate. So the blue wire activates. And then finally the pink wool pushes it down. But then the reverse needs to happen once you hit the button to close the mechanism. So the glowstone say the glowstone's right here. The glowstone needs to get picked out, but we can't have the same function happen again, because if that were to happen, then these pistons would just get the mechanism would totally fail. So then we need to have the blue pistons happen first, and then the yellow pistons to happen second. So the way we achieve that, I'm sorry if that sounds really, really complicated. I assure you, it was difficult to find a good way to explain it. But the way we do this is we have two separate mechanisms activated every time the button is hit. So when the T flip-flop switches, it switches the order of which the pistons get activated. So at the moment, if you were to hit the switch, it would switch to this dark purple wire. And what would happen, it just there's a bunch of 1-tick pulses that are connected to each of these different walls. And each of the 1-tick pulses feed into these wires, but they're at certain delays, so they don't occur at the same time. So on the purple, we have the yellow wire activating first, and we have the blue wire activating second, but the reverse happens on the magenta. So that way we inverse the action every time we hit the button. So that's kind of how we pull it. I'm sorry that sounds so complicated, but for the people who really get redstone, I think this is a good way of explaining it. So sorry for the rambling. So now let's get on to the nitty gritty and let's get building this thing. Alright, so you're going to start off with a 2x2 set of glowstone in the center wherever you want your lights to appear. Once you have your glowstone placed, you're going to want to take whatever block you're using to make your ceiling, and you're going to pull out 3 to the left. And you're going to do this for both, so you have a 2x3 platform to the left of your glowstone. And then from there, you want to go 5 more to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this should give you a 10 long and 2 wide platform with the glowstone offset by 1 block from the middle. And then from there, you're going to place 4 blocks to each side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then finally, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you're going to fill in the rest of this place so you have all of your space to fill, so you have enough room to create this entire contraption. So if you were building this like underground, you would want to dig out this entire area. I would recommend digging this up higher about 6 blocks, because you'll want 2 blocks above your head in order to be able to walk around. So let me just finish constructing this real quick. Okay, now what you should have is something like this. So you should have a 10x10 square, and your glowstone in the middle just offset by 1 block to the left. Alright, so you're going to start off by going to the far right corner of your platform. So that's your left, and this is your right. And you're going to place 1 piece of redstone in the far right corner. Then you're going to place a block to the left of the redstone, and then you're going to place another piece of redstone. Then you're going to go 2 blocks up to your left, and then don't place any redstone on this next block. Then you're going to place your piston on top of it, your sticky piston facing to the left, and then you'll put a block of redstone on its face. Then you're going to place another block to the left of this redstone block, and you're going to put a piece of redstone on it. Then in front of this block, you're going to put another sticky piston facing upwards, and then to the right of it, or on top of it, you're going to place any block of your choice. If you want to, you can actually use a regular piston here in gravel, but I like to be fancy and make everything match color for color. So I'm just going to leave it like that. Then you're going to place a block to the right of that piston and a block in front of this piston. You're going to place a repeater in front of this block and keep it at 1 tick. Then you're going to place a block to your repeater to the right, and then you're going to set it to 2 ticks. Next, you're going to create a 2x2 platform right here, and then you're going to place 3 pieces of redstone in an arc like this. Then you want to get your wooden button. I recommend you can use any sort of button, but I recommend wooden because it's the least expensive. Then you're going to place it on this block. What that does is it keeps if you didn't have this here, every time you'd hit this, it would keep hitting this piston, so it created an infinite loop. So you want to put the button here so it redirects the redstone signal. Then from there, you're going to place a block up here, and so you have the repeater facing into the block. From there, you're next to this block right here. To the left, you're going to place another block, and then up from there, you're going to place another 2 blocks. Then what you'll want to do is you'll actually want to break your glowstone right here. I recommend using a silk touch so you don't accidentally get skimped out on the glowstone. And then you're going to go under here and you're going to place a 4x4, or excuse me, a 2x2 of sticky pistons so that they're one block above where your glowstone is going to be. Then you're just going to want to get back up and then replace your glowstone. From here, what you're going to do is you're going to want to place redstone wire on top of these 4 blocks that you just placed. Now we're going to actually build the T flip-flop of this mechanism, but probably not completely yet. So, cause what we want to do is we want to make sure that we have our ordering right. So, as I mentioned, the different operations that happen at a specific time. So we really don't want to screw those up. So I'm not going to build the entire part just yet. So for now, what you can do is you can just place a sticky piston in between these 2 repeaters. And then 2 blocks away, you're going to place another sticky piston. And so you can, yeah, we'll just leave that there for now. Next, we're going to work on the timing mechanism for this device. What you're going to do is you're going to want to go to this block that you placed here, so next to this redstone block, and you're going to take your repeater, and you're going to go 4 repeaters to the left. You're going to want to keep these first 2 repeaters the same, but then change these repeaters to full delay. Then you're going to place a block next to it, and then what I like to do is I like to shift click on top of the repeater so I can place a block on top of it. Then you're going to place wire or redstone wire on top of those 2 blocks. Then you're going to place an upwards facing piston. No. There we go. You're going to place an upwards facing piston above this second repeater from the left, and then you're going to place a block on top of that. Again, this can be a normal piston and a gravel block or sand block, but I like to be fancy, so this is going to be a regular or sticky piston in a wool block. Then you're going to place a block to the right. Oh, excuse me for the voice crack. Then you're going to place a repeater at 1 tick. Then you're going to place a block next to that so the repeater faces into the block. Then you're going to go around and place another block right there. And then you're going to place another block, a block higher. Excuse me again, jeez, these voice cracks. And then you're going to fill in the redstone. So this should complete the timer system for this device. Alright, so now you'll want to get your sticky pistons back out. What we're going to do is we're going to set up the different sets of pistons that control which blocks get pulled out. So at each face of the 2x2 set of glowstone blocks, you're going to put 2 sticky pistons facing toward the central glowstone blocks. And you're going to want to do this for every different side of the glowstone 2x2. So what you should get should look something like this. Now we're going to start with the yellow wool pistons. So what I like to do is I like to place 1 yellow wool block on each side. Then I like to connect them together. Do not put 2 yellow wool blocks right here. What that will do is it'll activate these pistons, which need to be activated by another circuit. So in order to not cross the wires, we're going to keep that safe and not put blocks there. And so what we do here is we actually don't go straight here. We actually go to left 1 more block. Then we go up 1 here. Place another block. And then we're going to get our 1 little half slab, and we're going to place it right here. Then we're just going to connect it all together with redstone wire. Now what you're also going to want to do is I'm going to take an orange wool. You can use yellow wool too, but you're going to want to place a block on top of this redstone wool so that these wires don't get crossed. Then what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to do the light blue wool. So you're going to want to start with a piece of light blue wool here, and then another piece here. And then we're going to just connect the 2. So we go up a block. Then we keep going back. And then we go down right here. And then you're just going to connect your wires. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to place 2 blocks right here so the wires don't intersect. And now we have our pistons lines hooked up. So now we just got to get the control mechanisms together, which is the hardest part of this mechanism. Alright, so now we need to go back to the T flip-flop real quick. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take another redstone block and we're going to place it in this piston. So when you're looking at it from here, it's going to be the one on the left. So to the left of the button. The one without the button. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to place a redstone torch right here. So it's going into this piston. And then you're going to place another one on the opposite side. So what this does, it creates a T flip-flop. So every time you activate the circuit, it will toggle the output, aka a T flip-flop. So let me just demonstrate real quick. Uh-oh, that wasn't supposed to do that. No biggie. Okay, it reset itself, so we're all set. So let me just reset this real quick. So we want to make sure that it is going into it right here. Then what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take a redstone repeater and put it right here. Then we're going to take a piece of redstone and put it right next to where this redstone block is. Take another piece to the right and then put our redstone repeater here. Alright, so now I'm going to build the part that used the magenta wool. Again, you can use whatever material you'd like. So what you're going to do is in front of this unlit repeater here, you're going to place a piece of redstone dust. Then you're going to place a block to the right of it, and then another block to the up and to the right. So I would shift and then right click. Then you're going to place another block in front, and then you're going to connect it with redstone dust. Then you're going to want to place a block on top of this redstone so that the two different wires don't intersect, because that's activating two different mechanisms. Then you're going to place a block on top of the second piece of redstone wire, not this piece right here, or else it wouldn't connect at all. That would be kind of hilarious. Then what you're going to do is in front of this redstone wire right here, you're going to place a sticky piston facing upward, or a regular piston if you so desire, with gravel. Then you're going to place a block on top of it. Then facing this blue wall, you're going to place another block and a repeater at its normal configuration. So just leave it as it is. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to extend this 2 more blocks. You're going to want to place another 2 blocks right here. Then you're going to want to place another block up like this. This gets a little confusing. And then it goes down again. So you go another block further and then down. Then you go up again like this. And then you go another 2 blocks. You go down another block. Then you're going to place a redstone repeater. And then you are going to place a sticky piston with a block on top of it. And once you do that, you're going to place another block next to the piston. And then you're going to place a redstone repeater right there. And now you've got your blue going first and your yellow going second. Alright, one thing I forgot to mention is that we actually need to place our wires up here. So I'm just going to do that real quick. And also this repeater, you need to right click once, so it is at a 2-tick delay. So that's just one quick note I forgot to mention about this magenta section right here. So now let's get on to the purple section. Alright, now you're gonna want to go to your lit redstone repeater right here next to all this magenta wool. And you're gonna want to go 3 redstone dust to the right, or if you're facing this way, you're gonna want to go 3 redstone dust forward. Then what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna place a redstone repeater facing forward again, so the same way as your redstone dust, and then you're going to right click it once to offset it by 1 tick, or 2 ticks, excuse me. Then you're going to place a block. I'm going to use purple here because it's the second mechanism, and then you're going to place a piece of redstone dust on top of it. Then you're going to want to place a block on top of it. Oh, did that mess everything up? I sure hope it didn't. But okay, now that you've got this block placed on top, you're going to take a sticky piston, or again a regular piston, and you're going to place it next to it. Then you're going to place another block on top of it, so the piston's pushing up the block. Then right here, you're going to place another redstone repeater, leave it at 1 tick, and then you're going to place 3 blocks right here, and then you're going to place redstone on all 3 of them. Then you're going to take the blocks again, and you're going to place them on top of that wire you just placed, so there's no intersection in the wires. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your 1 piston that I mentioned well, I didn't really mention that, I showcased at the beginning of the video, and you're going to place it facing downwards. So this block right here needs to be below the face of the piston. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to place a block right here, and I'm going to change this to purple so it looks actually kind of nice. And, oh, I actually messed something up here. Let me just fix this real quick. What I want to do here is this block needs to be up here, and then this block needs to be right here. So I actually messed this up at the beginning, so sorry about that. So now it should look like this. So the bud switch would be like right here instead of right here. So that's just a quick change. So this works. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to take a repeater and you're going to place it right here. And you're going to leave it at the 1 tick. And then you're going to place a block right next to the piston and facing into the repeater. So it should like this. So now we're almost done, and now we're just going to connect the last bits and bobs. Alright, before we finish this up, I just want to mention something that I kind of forgot while doing this tutorial when we were working on the orange wire, is that I forgot to place this piece of redstone right here. And if you actually don't do that, it kind of messes up the entire redstone circuit. So make sure you have that put there. I'm so sorry I forgot that. Anyway, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to place the solid blocks that will be probably the same color as the ceiling, or unless you have a really weird ceiling. I don't know what's going on inside your base. Alright, so before we place the blocks, we just got to check one thing real quick. We need to make sure that this right side is lit. As long as this right side is lit, you're fine. If it's for some reason not lit, you're going to hit the wooden button right here. I'm not going to, but it's fine. The way the wooden button is actually set up, it will actually fire off the entire mechanism, so it'll switch it. You don't even need to worry about the glowstone or anything else like that. Once you've made sure that the right side is the side that is on due to the T flip-flop, what you're going to do is you're going to come down to your 4 sets of pistons, and in front of every piston that has the yellow wire attached, you're going to place one of the blocks. So in front of these two, we're going to place 1 and 2 blocks. And in front of these two, you're going to place 3 and 4. And then you should be good to go. There's your entire device. Now let's just test it real quick to make sure we got this whole thing going right. Perfect, it's working just as it should. Now, as you can see, that was really kind of laggy. So you want to know why? It's because, okay, so when redstone lights up, it creates a lot of updates, and that causes to give you lag on your client. So in order to remedy this, we're going to add lighting above our circuit. And through the power of editing, voila, we now have lighting. So now that we have lighting, this machine will be a lot less laggy, so it will be a lot more usable and survival friendly. So that is about it for this tutorial. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you learned something out of this. If you really liked the video, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. It would totally mean a lot to me. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.